Welcome, everybody, to another wonderful episode of your Potluck Podcast. This is your butthurt disclaimer. Parental and/or sponsor advisory. Our goal is to offer a recovery-based podcast with a twist of humor. The expressions and opinions voiced here are those of the individual speaker and are not of the collective. Our primary purpose is to carry the message and to help others to achieve sobriety. We don't feel the need to be original, but we certainly don't want to be extra crispy. Crispy! What's up, guys? How's y'all week?
Oh, man.
Do we do introductions? We have a guest.
So, Bree would like to introduce the guest.
I introduced myself. What's going on, everybody? She's local neighborhood addict. They call me D. Dorsey.
Yeah. What up, Dorsey, man?
Hi, Dorsey.
You know it.
Yeah, I heard you speak, you know what I'm saying, quite a few times, and got a good message, one, you know what I'm saying, and I enjoy hearing you talk, you know what I mean.
I appreciate it, man.
Gotta get him on.
Been getting harassed for about a good 2 weeks to come in here and do this now.
Yeah. They say persistence is key.
That's it. These boys got everything lined up and there, so we're going to give you something to remember today, man. That is real.
Yeah, it's like you saying, like, it's not just the talk, man, it's the walk too. Like, you know how you hear some people, they come in there, they got a good, you know, little word they can put together, bro, but it's like their actions not matching, man. And just from what I've seen, I've known you before this, you know what I'm saying? So, but like seeing where you are now and like the actual, just the passion that you have in your voice and the actions that come behind that, you know, recovery is it looks good on you, bro.
Yeah,
it looks good on you.
I appreciate it, man. My when I was in long-term treatment, man, my coordinator told me all the time, he said, man, your audio got to match your video.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. So, you know, I definitely appreciate it being recognized for that, you know, not just being able to speak about it, but to be able to walk it out. Facts.
That's one of the things for me, man. Like I've been in the recovery a couple different times, and I would just spit some cold pieces, you know what I mean? But there was no action there.
Yeah.
So
Lip service.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what I heard was what I uttered with my mouth, my actions must prove, and I live by that today. You know what I mean? I try to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? Like I'm not perfect, but I try to match that 100% because. I'm done just talking. I'm done just doing just that lip service. Like my actions gotta prove that shit too.
You got on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's your word, bro.
Yeah. It's raw. You know what I'm saying? It's raw.
Well, shit.
So I hear walk it like you talk it like you walk it. We do have this thing though. There's the F-bomb tally.
The F-bomb tally.
Yeah, the winner/loser. There's still a few lunches owed, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm losing right now. I'm not
You losing right now?
Oh yeah, he's got a title.
Big time.
He's out in front.
You got a belt.
Yep.
Yeah, I ain't gonna never win that one. I ain't using the F-bomb.
Right on.
Try not to.
Listen, you know, that's something I've been working. I've been getting a little better at it. You know.
I will say I have noticed as well, in, on, and off podcasts and rooms as well.
Yeah,
it's only when you get a little excited. You know,
I do. When I get excited like that, man, it's just the way I'm used to expressing myself. You know what I mean? But I prayed that prayer. You know, honestly, I heard it. You said it the best, man. Just relieve me of that serpent tongue, man, and that it's helped me a lot. Like I'm not perfect. Like I said, I still make mistakes. I still use it, but it's gotten a whole lot better since I prayed that prayer. I still pray that prayer.
Yeah, it's difficult too though when you think about it, because you know, in most rooms that you go in, you're allowed to cuss in most of them. So you know, you hear a whole bunch of old timers saying whatever they want to say, and you know they're digging your chest with it. You know, so, but if you got a personal goal of taming the tongue, then I respect that too. And you know, prayer definitely works that for real.
It's like the way I look at it, like it's. So they say it's not a sign of spiritual growth, and it's not. It really isn't. To use that type of language is actually like a low form of vibration, right? But it's the way I express myself. Like my recovery was given to me raw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I talk, like it's raw a lot of the times, and that it may not be spiritual, but that's how you know I'm passionate about something, or like I'm excited. I get excited about something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I still try not to use it because it's an impression, man. You make an impression, especially on the newcomers and things like that. Like how he been in the program 2 years, going on 3 years, and still cussing like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's.
That's up and down though, because if you think about it now, like if you're gonna go speak somewhere, right? And it's to a majority of younger men and women, and you walk in there with a Jordan sweatsuit on, and you speaking from passionate, and you saying cuss words and whatnot, they relate to that.
Yeah.
You might be able to reach more people that way than coming in with a 3-piece suit on.
Yeah.
And then working on your vocabulary so you don't say anything wrong, but then people ain't even paying you no attention. So it's one of those things, man. It's like when I forgot what it is in the Bible, but when they talk about it, like when it says if you need to act like a Roman, act like a Roman. If you need to act like this, you need to act like that to fit the situation that you're in. You know what I mean? Now, if you, like I said earlier, if you're trying to really work on your vocabulary, because I think a lot of times we cuss because we don't have an extensive vocabulary.
Right.
It's like people that repeat the same thing at the end of a sentence all the time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like read a dictionary, what I'm saying? Read a book, Change your vocabulary. But if you're trying to reach a certain demographic of people, sometimes when you say shit from the heart raw and cuss words come out, they'll be like, oh man, he's like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, he think he too good. He been clean for 3-4 years. He don't cuss no more. I don't want to hear him talk. But, I think it just depends on the person, the situation, and what your individual goals are too. Like if you're just trying to be have better, verbiage, then maybe cuss words aren't the greatest thing to use.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Cussing was the topic of this discussion today. You would have known.
Profanity.
This message is brought to you by the letter F.
Oh man.
So, Miss Bree, you got anything?
No.
Okay.
Not at this exact moment in time.
Right on,
My
right
brain
on.
is not all the way there.
So I was at work yesterday, and my dude, I've been training since Monday. We get to talking, and it's like I don't really ask anyone at work. You know what I mean? Like some of them I know they're in recovery and things like that. But like if I meet someone new, the first thing out of my mouth is, "Hey, are you in recovery?" It's just not. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so I've been working with him since Monday, and we get to talking. And I told him Wednesday night that we do this podcast, and I was like, it's a recovery-based podcast. Well, yesterday we get to talking, and he's like, yeah, man, I remember you saying that you do this podcast. Like, tell me a little bit more about it. So I started telling him about it, and he was like, man, I've been in recovery for I think he said 6 years. He's been sober for 6 years, and that whole don't judge a book by its cover. Now I don't try not to judge people today, you know what I mean? But some people you look at them and be like, yeah, you definitely be doing something, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But he's definitely one of the people that look like that. My boss even said, he's like, bro, he look like he's just high all the time. and he probably just naturally look like that. But I found out yesterday that he works 2 jobs. He works one in the morning before he comes in, and then he goes straight to work out there. So that's probably why he's a little bit, But he's a good dude, man, and I don't know. It's to me, it's weird. Not I don't say it's weird, but it's weird. Like when you meet someone, you know, for a couple of days, you know what I'm saying? They're like, well, he's like, nah, bro, I've been sober for 6 years. You know what I mean? It's good to know there's people out there that whether they come into the rooms, you know what I mean, and stay in the rooms, or whether they utilize the rooms and then continue to stay sober without them. Right. It's beautiful, really.
What's been
Get caught up in the look though.
what's been brought to my attention here as of recent is my idea of sober or clean is not everyone's.
Right.
Like the ones that got multiple sobriety dates.
Yeah.
I haven't drank. I've been clean off alcohol for 10 years. I smoke weed every day. You know what I'm saying? Or I ain't done heroin in 6 years, but I drink every day. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I was that dude, you know what I'm saying? Because I would get off of the stuff, but then I would still have my medicine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prescribed by the doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was clean. As a matter of fact, I was coming in the meetings in the beginning, stone.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I wasn't you. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I was clean.
on that? Because I don't smoke weed no more, right?
Nope.
So what made you stop smoking weed?
As a friend in the program says a lot, you know, I needed full knowledge of my condition. I got about a strong 10 days together with not smoking, not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Had a rough day at work and acquired my medicine and smoked about a half one on the way to a meeting.
Yeah.
And man, the mind came back. It was just like, the audience was back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a voice, it wasn't a couple of voices, just like that white noise in my head.
Yeah.
And the uneasiness, you know, the social awkwardness, you know what I'm saying? Everything come back.
Yeah.
And had that conversation on that pew on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
And Sean, are you gonna get up right now? Are you gonna do what it is you know you need to do? Or it's gonna be another moment where you kick yourself in the ass years down the road? Man, if I just would've, you know, and think back on that moment for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I got back up and took little buddy the bag. I was like, you can have this back. And the smile that was on my face when I did it, you know what I mean? Like, that's what did it for me. Dude, I firmly believed I was gonna smoke weed for the rest of my life.
Me too.
Yeah, I did too.
You know?
Absolutely.
If I didn't do anything else, I was gonna smoke weed the rest of my life.
Sure.
I was gonna, the way I already knew how I was gonna die, it was gonna be with an oxygen tank and hitting on a ganny. and couldn't reach the mask in time, you know, and choked to death, you know what I'm saying? But it was just so normal.
Yeah.
It was normal. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like marijuana is a gateway drug?
Glad you asked that, because I feel like tobacco is.
Yeah.
I can't argue that.
Because when I start smoking cigarettes,
Yeah.
then there's some people that's not going to have nothing to do with me. I knowingly or unknowingly, to gravitate towards the smokers. And then the smokers are smoking
Yeah.
and drinking and whatever else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts on it.
I think
Wow.
I think that it's a mindset thing, right? Like Sean was saying, I think that anything could be a gateway drug. Anything, you know. But specifically, like, I started drinking before I started smoking weed or you know, doing anything like that. Like, my first addiction was selling drugs and drinking. You know what I mean? And then it wasn't until later when I got into that. I didn't start smoking weed until I was like 12. You know, and by that point, I had already been drinking. I had already been smoking cigarettes. I had already been doing all this other shit. You know what I mean? So I think it's a mindset thing. Like, I think it can be a gateway drug if that's where your mind sets you to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's the people.
Yes.
The people you hang around who influence you. And you think about it, everybody started things. Most people started getting high and drunk at a young age because their friends was, or you know, this dude's mom didn't care if y'all come over here and drink it at her house, and so then you ain't never drunk a day in your life, but then you go over to your friend's house and mama don't give a damn if you drink it out the bottle, and they say you might not even want to do it for real, but your friends are doing it, and then so you take a shot of the drink, and then it just leads from there to the next thing to the next thing. But in my opinion, it seems like it's I don't say weed's a gateway drug. A lot of people say that, but I think it's the environment that you're in,
Right.
the people that you hang around. You know what I'm saying? Like I never, ever thought I would do methamphetamine.
Yeah.
That's a white boy drug, right? That's exactly how we looked at it too. That's a white boy drug, and there's no way I'm going to ever do that drug. And get involved in construction, guys that do meth before work, doing work, after work, you know, to keep that push going. hey man, just hit this one time, man. I promise you, you better work all day. I ain't touching that shit.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
I can work all day, but I can't think worth a shit.
All day. I'm tired. I'm taking breaks. I'm taking all breaks. I'm over there hiding over there, trying to work that up. And then finally give into it because I'm noticing, man, they laying a lot of brick over there.
Yeah.
He making a lot of money really fast, man. Damn. All right, let me try it, man. Let me see what it's all about. And then the rodeo begins. You know what I'm saying? The rodeo begins. So, like, yeah, I don't know if I just say weed is a gateway drug. I think the people that you're around that influence you the most, if you don't have a strong will, who got a strong will at 13, 12 years old? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You
right.
know, who gonna be like, no, there's no way. No, there's a big way, you know. So that's just my take on it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never wanted anything to do with drugs either. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother's dad, my mom's first husband, I was introduced to this stuff real early, bro. Like I remember we lived in Charlotte, and we would go to the corner, and he'd pick up a brown bag. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, "Don't look," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know, okay." You know,
Yeah,
like,
don't look.
So then go home, tell mom, I was like, "I don't know, we went down the road, he done picked up this brown bag," you know, and she was like, so she about whooped the fire out of him, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't tell her, don't tell him I told you, you know what I'm saying? So I got a fire whooped out of me too, you know what I mean? But me and her, my brother, I mean, we got put through such a mess over all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Look, man, I hated him. And I hated drugs, you know. So when the first time my mom found out that I even smoked weed, you know, like the level of shame she let me, you know, I was like, you know, honestly, I really didn't even care.
Yeah.
You know, I done it, and I was going to continue to do it, and I didn't care how you felt.
Yeah.
You know, I will say though, man, I hated him. I hated the guy. Look, the thing I had the biggest difficulty with, and this goes to the whole God idea. Like I had a problem with God over this because how can God create two different people on the same day from totally different ends of the spectrum? Him and Michael Jordan was burned on the same day, bro. And such you know, for one to have such a productive life, you know what I'm saying, and to be such a success, and for the other one to just be an utter and complete failure in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? But then I come to the programs of recovery, and I realized that, you know, I didn't have much power over it. You know, God rest his soul, you know, he's died now. He died of alcoholism. But then I realized that he didn't have no power over that either, dude. He didn't know there was a solution. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know that people was recovering, that there was a way out. You see what I mean? Regardless of how I felt about the ways that he dealt with us and all that mess, you know what I'm saying? I still had empathy about it. But it took the rooms to find that empathy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank God for them rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you imagine where you'd be in your recovery if there were no rooms? Would there even be a recovery? That's room saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honest with you.
Absolutely.
The steps did too as well. The steps worked great. Steps worked tremendously well for me. But like, what about after the steps? You know, I want to keep that high going. You know, that victory going.
Pink cloud,
so
purple cloud, whatever.
Go to the rooms. Like I'm so thankful for the rooms, bro. Because I don't imagine where I would be at in my life if there wasn't a place that people who are like-minded like myself can meet and we can get shit off our chest and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know how difficult it is trying to talk to somebody who's not one of us?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's crazy, bro. Like,
absolutely.
And like I really think they need to come up with in my opinion, you can work the steps for anything.
Absolutely, 100%.
No matter what it is. It ain't got to be no alcohol and drugs. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Pornography, whatever it is you struggle with in your life.
Yeah.
You know, because it's weird how like now we're at a state in our recovery where we can sit down and talk to each other and explain things and how we feel, apologize, and do all these things. But then you got people who ain't never ever been addicted to drugs, but they don't know how to get nothing off their chest. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know how to work it. It blows my mind. You know, that's why I like to be around people like us. You know, in comparison to being around people who've never struggled with anything, because they don't even know how to work through their problems now. You know what I mean? Thank God for the steps, for real.
And that only lasts for so long until, you know what I mean? Like, I was one of those people that didn't go through anything, I didn't have no problems, and then did.
Right.
I didn't know how to let out how I felt. I didn't know how to, you know, I never felt competent enough to say how I was feeling. Then I found alcohol, and then best believe I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling, you know? And with the, you know, the question earlier on with weed, you know, I've said to people who do whatever they, you know, weed is one thing. There are people that never go further than that. But it is the people and who you're around. You know, I started smoking weed when I was 17. I was almost 18. It was my junior year of high school. And, but I would go and drink at my friend's house because his mom let us drink over there. And so we'd all be up, you know, and these were all my friends. I didn't date anybody, but we would go over and, you know what I mean? We were just hanging out. Everything was cool. And then I'd have a DD and take me home. I never, you know, I'd sneak out and go and then come back in the morning. And then I went to another friend's house, and I started smoking cigarettes, and I'd climb out on the roof and smoke a cigarette, you know what I mean? Because that was like, I just felt like I'm doing something different. We had moved away from everything that I knew, and so I was really angry. And at that point, I didn't care. I was like, I've done everything right. I do everything I'm told to do. I never get in trouble, never get grounded. I'm going to do whatever I want. Now I'm done, because anytime I'd ask to go somewhere, nope, you can't, no, you can't, we don't trust these people, it's not you, it's the rest of the world, and I was just over it. It's like, I'm almost 18 years old, I haven't done nothing with nothing, you know? He took me away from all my friends, he took me away from my job, he took me away from we're in the middle of the mountains, and I gotta start all over in a mountain town where these kids were born at the same hospital, and I'm supposed to try to make friends with these people, like, nope. And so I did make friends, and they were smoking weed. I came home and ran upstairs to my room. My mom pulls the blanket off because I was like, threw the blanket on my head because I could still smell it, you know, because I smelled good, you know. My mom pulls the blanket down, and she was like, you smell like pot. I said, no, my eyes are all baked out, you know, like I'd make sure that I'd go and spray down, but I didn't this day. And she's like, I thought you said you're over at so-and-so's house. It's like, I told you their parents smoke. She's like, they smoke pot? I was like, yeah, you didn't ask what they smoked. I just said they smoked. Because I didn't want to lie. Yeah. So I found ways to not lie. I just found ways to tell the truth. Right. Yeah. Which, you know, one of the things my mom used to say, she's like, Brie, if you take, this is what we've, like, I'm learning this more and more, and I've always known, but you know what I mean, like, you take a bottle of water and you put one drop of blue food coloring, it is no longer, I mean, it might not dye it all the way, but it is no longer just pure water. Right. That's the same thing as not adding the whole, you know, you're not telling the whole truth, that's still a lie. A lie is a lie is a lie. Yep. And so, you know, I've really tried to tell the whole truth. Because there's no point. Splash myself in the eye. So anyway, I had started with drinking, and then my friends they were doing cocaine. And I was like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I was like, I smoke weed and I have mushrooms, that's it. I'm not doing nothing else, you know, I'll stick with natural, I can do that. So for like a year, man, I just graduated high school, I worked at this hotel, we had free room and board, all of us from high school lived and worked there, you know what I mean? That's what we did, we drank from sun up to sundown and smoked weed every second we got. And then one night I was finally like, you know what? Yeah, let's try it. And I like that.
What brought you to that point where you was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it? Like, what clicked in your head that made you want to try it?
After all that time.
Was it because your friends were doing it?
I mean, it was there, and they're having a good time. And I drank a lot. I could drink. I was always. Very rarely did I black out. I never got hangovers.
Right.
I was taking care of everybody. You know what I mean? But there was something different. They just kept talking about the numb thing, right? And I was like, that's what I wanted to. Yeah. And then I did. And so, if it was around, I never was seeking it out. You know what I mean? If they went down and had it, I was like, hey, you got something cool, you know. But I've always made a point not to be the one to go drive down there. You know, I know if it's around, it's around. And then that got me in trouble though later on, because pretty soon I'm like, yeah, you guys, we got that. You know what I mean? Like, this is cool. We're having a good time. You know. But it wasn't all the time. It was very rarely, you know what I mean? And then one time it'd be Coke, one time it'd be acid, you know?
Yeah.
And 19, between 18 and 19 is when I kind of, you know, but it was just the party drugs.
Yeah.
But sure wasn't going to do meth. I moved to college. I didn't do meth till I was 25 years old. And it was over my birthday weekend. And it was because, you know, it was like, well, I mean, I didn't really know what it was. And then when somebody's like, oh, it's speed. And in my brain, speed was Coke.
Right.
That
Only different kind of speed on that, wasn't it?
one. And the first time I did meth, I IV'd it. I'm an IV user from the first. So it was a whole nother thing. And I was like, this is like all 5 of my favorite things in one wham. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it totally, that was it. And then when I knew what it was, you're like, well, no, this, I was like, what was that? And you're like, speed. I was like, Coke? And you're like, no, it's meth. I was like, what? I couldn't even say the word. I couldn't even say it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm picturing the big billboards. And then my mom found out, she's like, did you ever see the meth on the signs, like, driving down the road?
Nothing else on that looked like the people that they did. I did.
Yeah.
The first time everybody here, I was like, man, I'm finna transform into these people I see.
Well, I did. I sure did. Man, I tell you what, absolutely. But when I did that, I mean, I was in a whole nother ballgame of heartbreak, of, like, just overwhelmed. I just didn't want to feel anything. I just wanted to feel, like, happy. And you couldn't find cocaine where I was at. You know, you had to go up to Denver. And I was 2 hours away, so finally I just was like, well, whatever. Hey, you got something cool. Let's try it. And it was a whole mess. But weed, I never thought it. I absolutely, it still blows my mind that I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna smoke weed, you know, because most of the time it was no big deal, but sometimes smoke weed, well, you go get something else. Same with drinking. Most of the time it doesn't lead anywhere, but sometimes it does, and I can't risk that anymore today. So I just won't even take the risk.
For me, it was once I started doing meth, there wasn't nothing else.
Oh, I didn't want to do nothing else when I used meth. You know?
If I didn't, which I always had it, but if I didn't have it,
Yeah.
like I still wouldn't want, like, if somebody's like, you want to smoke some weed? Nah, I want to smoke some meth.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want
Yes,
no.
that was it.
It was.
That was it.
I watched people who were alcoholics for years take their first hit of meth and then they don't even
Never-
drink alcohol
never
no
drink it.
more. You know what I mean?
I
It's
didn't.
insane. How that shit so powerful.
I ain't wasting my time. That ain't gonna do nothing for me. You know, that was my mindset. So it's just crazy how much that's changed. That was a big part of that. Are you willing to go to 100% of not doing anything?
Now, is it easy for you? Is it easy for you all to say, "I'll never do that again"?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I can't do that.
I don't like to speak in absolutes about anything.
Right.
Nope.
I feel like I have to leave margin for error.
Yeah.
Because I've heard it so many times. These people, I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I will never. And
Yeah.
the next thing I know, where is so and so?
Yeah. I'm busted. With George.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never fails. Every time I hear somebody speak in that manner, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I already know where they at.
Yeah.
I was there. My first time around the carousel. I remember being it was called Timbrook at the time. They call it the Brook now.
Okay.
There's just such a dramatic change, you know what I'm saying? But finances didn't, you know,
Yeah.
that couldn't cover the bigger name change or whatever, you know, just take a couple letters off, you know what I'm saying? I can remember being so adamant about how I won't be back. I was only like 21, 22, maybe 23. It's like, I won't be back. And everybody in the whole room is like, yeah, you will. You will. And they were even trying to implore to me, don't be so certain about that.
Yeah.
Because I was that way too, and this guy then was my age now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you don't know shit.
Right.
You don't know shit.
Right.
You don't know me. You don't know what, nothing.
He knew me.
Yes, he did. Right. They all did. Because I would go back to the/Tim book, you know what I'm saying? 3 or 4 more times. And that ain't even counting the other facilities.
Right.
Or institutions.
If I go back in my life, bro, I can see every single time, and I think that's that's real big for me too, especially now because I'm able to go back in my life and look and see that shit. But like the first time I was I went to jail. I just turned 18, man. I went to jail, and I get out. I ain't never going back. 2 weeks later, I went back. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward a little bit, I'm heavy. I was always in that addiction thing. I was always an alcoholic. I was always doing things like that. But one thing I would never do is shoot methamphetamines. I told myself I'd never be like that. About a month later, I was doing that for 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
That is the only never I ever spoke that hasn't materialized yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Listen.
I've never, nope.
And what gets me is other people's fear of needles, and yet they still.
You want to hear something crazy?
Because you want to see a little kid.
I heard people that would shoot, that would say after they got clean that they would definitely be scared of you because it's a trigger.
Listen.
No, I was scared first. Like I wanted to get over my fear of needles. I wanted to not feel the heartbreak that I felt, and I was like, I don't even care what we do. What's crazy is that same day, one of the people that came to my house, I found him ODing on my floor with a needle sticking out of his arm, and the dog was barking. And that night was when I said, let's do it. That's how far, that's how much heartbreak. I was so upset, and to think back on it now, man, I know how much that wrecked me, dude. And dude, it's not even that important, you know what I mean? But at the time,
it was everything.
At the time, it was what I thought was the first healthy relationship I was in, and I was a secret girlfriend for 5 months, you know what I mean? And I was like, I just got over the boys' dad dying. This was 3 years later, and I was like, hey, I can move forward in life. And it was all a lie.
Yeah.
And then he was about to become a counselor, brought me into the place to go get my help for my alcoholism. It's all a lie. I was like, how in the, you know what I mean? I was completely that was it. For me, I was just done at that point. I was like, I hated men. I didn't have any real friends. Right. And the few friends I made all relapsed, and then they all came and lived at my house. All on different drugs. One was heroin, the other one was meth, and then I ended up for 7.5 year long relationship with the guy that shut me up. You know what I mean? Because, and it's just one of those things, trauma bonding's not great. I didn't know what that is. I still kind of, I get it, but I don't get it. I didn't do a lot of study in that part. I had other issues to deal with. But I knew that somewhere that was linked with the drugs or with a relationship, that there was something that was there was something broke in my brain. Right. But it was really because I had stepped away from God. I completely what?
Nothing.
I'm just all over the place.
No.
I know my ADD is really bad.
You actually on the road.
You are good. Yeah. I keep spraying myself with this coffee, bro. My eye burns right now. Okay, I'm hurting. My hand is sticky. Call it woke. Anyway, continue, please.
Yeah, I jumped from a whole lot of things. I don't even know what that started on, but anyway, the whole escalating from drugs to alcohol. I was on Vivitrol when I tried meth. Because I tried heroin first. It didn't work the night before. and shut up heroin.
Well,
And it didn't work.
Vivitrol is to help with opiates.
Yes, and alcohol. I was on it for alcohol and opiates.
It's supposed to make you sick, but I know of at least one person who was on a Vivitrol and drank.
Yes, I know someone who.
Okay.
So you can drink, but the point is like you're not gonna feel it.
No, yeah. So then that could be dangerous for you because you're not. It cuts off the receptors, right? So you can drink all you want. It's just not a good idea because you're not gonna feel nothing.
Yeah. So you're still drunk, but you don't know you're drunk.
Well, your alcohol intake and
will increase.
Is going up, so you could easily
It's
die.
super dangerous, but they use it for opiates too.
Right.
So I was on the last week of being on the Vivitrol shot, and when that night that dude OD'd, and I mean, at the time, I hadn't done drugs yet, so I was still pretty ripped out, but I picked up this big old dude just like dying on my floor. Brought him over to the couch. He was seeing my best friend. I didn't know yet what had happened, you know what I mean? So I'm calling her, I was like, something's going on, somebody help me. So then she came over, and then they were, she came back around, and they took off to the bedroom, and I was like, what is so great about this? Like, do you guys have wicked dreams? Like, literally, that's what I asked. I was like, what is so good? Like, do you just like, go into a new world, or you just fall asleep? Because that's horrible. I would never, no, I'm not a downer person, right?
Right.
But that was the same time that this whole thing, I got a book and a text message. Ghosting wasn't a thing then, so I didn't know what ghosting was. I just got cut off. I got no explanation of what had happened. Wrote a letter, got a whole nasty message back, and so at that point I was just like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I just need to not feel. I don't even care what it's gonna do. Like, I am at the point. It was on my son's birthday too. I just sent him over to my grandma's house. We had his birthday party, and I just dropped him off when I got home that day, when I found all that, right? My youngest son. I always used to say it was the next day, just so I'd say I didn't do drugs on his birthday, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, I try to keep my kids for their birthday now, but no, I dropped him off so I could just go be sad.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work, because I was like, well, that's dumb. And I remember Vanessa was like, I don't want to do it, Brie, I don't want to do it. I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, just please, just something, because I'm just over it. You guys have been living here. Like, nothing else is working. It didn't work. It worked for them, but it didn't do nothing to me. So I just went back out to the living room. And then later that night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, she called her friend, who was now my ex-husband, come over, and he brought meth and was like, oh, you know what I mean? I had a needle in your blood, and I was like, yeah, I just did last night. Not informing all the way that you did, I've never done meth. Like, I thought it was just cocaine. I thought it was going to be like a heck of I was excited, for coke, like, sure, whatever. I know it didn't do nothing to me, so might as well. And that was a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting the kids later that day, but I had my whole house clean, you know what I mean? I felt good for the first time in my life. Like, I wasn't twacked out yet. I have severe ADD, so it actually, in a way, helped at first.
Yep.
And then I knew. I went to treatment I went to groups every day, 5 days a week. Went into Fresh Hope. When your first 30 days sober or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'd been there for a minute. They never moved me out of that room. So I'm in a room where everybody in there has not more than 30 days clean. And I'm thinking it's just alcohol. So people are talking about taking shots. I'm thinking they're talking about booze.
Yeah,
Not, you know what I mean? So, like, I had no clue. I had no clue that I'm in a room of drug addicts. I was, like, the only person in there for alcohol.
Yeah.
So, over time, what's going to happen? I just was with the wrong people that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we all had a bad day, and I had my own place. I had the place that nobody knew of yet. Everybody else's houses were trap houses. Nobody knew where I lived. I was a new person in town. I had my own trailer. I'm in my own spot. I am a safe space to be for people that are running from the law.
Right.
Right? And so that's really, I didn't know at the time that that's what it was. But I know looking back now, I was like, oh, of course y'all were at my house. Y'all had warrants, and my house started getting watched, and of course everything went the way it did, but yeah, I went into class and I was like, so I did something last night. I was like, I tried, man, and it was great. And I'm not going to do that again because I liked it way too much. And my counselor's like, you did what? Like, I was on unsupervised probation. I didn't have to do drug screens. I already did my one drug screen. The probation officer and had me come in because he knew I wasn't going to have my kids for the whole weekend of my birthday. I call in, boom, I have it the next day. And I was like, what did I don't know what to do. I haven't missed any. So then, of course, the friends are like, you haven't missed any. It's okay. You can just miss one. We just won't go. We went up in the mountains. I lost 6 or 7 pounds in 3 days.
Oh, Lord.
My mom's like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing's wrong with me. Like, leave me alone. I haven't had my kids for 4 days for the first time since they were born. You know what I mean? Like, I went and partied it up. No, she knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
And after that, it was, I mean, I kept saying I won't do it, you know, because I like it too much. And because everybody else that was around was trying to stay clean, I was like, well, I can stop. I've stopped. So I'm not going to do it. And then when I found out they were all still doing it secretly, I was like, you're in my house. Give me some of that. You know what I mean? Y'all live here for free. Yeah. I never had to pay for no drugs. I never had to pay for drugs. Everybody lived in my house and stole all my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the insane jump of where everything went and how quickly it went. And I know that the reason I lost, you know, I spoke on it earlier. Today's the day I signed my sons to my grandparents a year ago. And I know had that not happened, had everything not happened the way it did, like, obviously I've had 3 cases. I've had my kids taken from me 3 different times, 3 different states. The first time I didn't have the other 2 babies. So because I obviously got away with it, I mean, I would get through it and then I'd relapse. My family would take them and then it'd be good for a while and then I'd got to do it again and pull through and didn't pull through the second time.
Vicious cycle.
And had it not gone the way it did, I don't know if I would have found recovery.
Right.
Because if the girls hadn't come here and had he not taken them, like and I really did give up for a minute and then I was like, I can't do that. Like, I did. And then it was that moment of like, what happens if I'm gone? The boys will never know the story of where they came from. They're never going to know what really happened with their dad. And when they do find out, it's definitely going to look like it was their mama's fault, like the other family says. And the girls are going to be up there with their daddy who hates me, you know, because I'm all these things because I didn't want to be with them, you know what I mean? So, like, there was no way. And regardless, I was still their mom, so that or they're gonna find me dead, and what would they think? And the rest of the story will never get told, and I can't ever tell it if I keep living like this.
Yeah.
And you know, a couple fights later, I was just like, I refuse to die. I refuse to be found on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Like, that was really where it got to.
Yeah.
And it was really sad, but I knew that, you know, somebody's going to jail, and I knew it was an accident, but if they didn't make me, whichever side it came from, whether it be on my end, I'm sure it wouldn't have been, but it, you know, when you watch those shows like Snapped, like Passion Crimes or whatever, I don't even know what happened. It just happened, you know, and you regret it forever, but it doesn't matter. The other person's gone. That and one moment will change your life forever. One bad decision will make a whole thing. And I knew with the boys, I've taught them, you know, no matter what you do, there's never a reason to end your life. It will never be bad enough for you to think that you're not wanted on this planet. Because that hurts way more people than anybody ever knows. But they don't know that because that's how low they feel. Right. And if their mom was slowly doing something, I mean, didn't care if I lived or died. And I couldn't bear how they would have felt if something had happened like that to me. Because then it's like, my mom and my dad couldn't stay around for us, you know? So that was a big ordeal. All right, I'm done talking. I'm sweating like crazy.
So,
somebody else talk.
3 things though. So just off of what we've been talking about though, my ex-wife told me, when you talking about the lie thing, my ex-wife told me, she used to tell me this shit all the time, and it used to piss me off, and I never understood it until now. But she said, a half truth is a whole lie, right? She used to tell me that shit all the time. I would just be, she'd be like, you're just lying by omission. That used to piss me off too, until I realized that's what I did. But anyway, I still have a fear of needles, right? I had a fear of needles the entire time I used. So much to the point where, like, if I go to the doctor, you got one time. You got one time. If you can't do whatever you got to do one time, you're not trying it again. You're not gonna sit here and poke me, but I will sit for hours.
Trying to
Poke myself because I'm dehydrated. Because
man, I can't even. That's hard for me to talk about.
Listen,
The whole just the concept of a foreign object entering my body, bro. You know what I'm saying? And over and over and over. Like, yes.
I have no problem.
Absolutely. Well, see, I like to stay up for a month at a time.
Well,
Yes, that's good. But anyway, the point I was getting at after that was, you know what I'm saying? It's not a trigger for me today. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch someone do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. But I can go to the doctor and let them do whatever they gotta do, and me not make these. You know, you got one child. You can do it. You're gonna do it right. I'd rather you do it right than sit here and banter you trying to get this shit done. Just do it. You know what I mean? I still have that fear though. I still don't. I the entire time I did it for 15 years, I didn't like the shit. I still don't. You know what I mean? But then to what you were saying, I'm grateful that this is gonna sound a little twisted. I'm grateful that my kids got taken from me. You know what I mean? No, it hurts that they're not with me, you know? But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because if they were still in my life, I would have never found recovery. I would have never changed anything about myself.
I think it's working, and then to know like that was another wake up call. So when Dustin got the girls, and we got a letter in the mail that he had put a restraining order on Clint for against the daughters. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you, just because he didn't want, I thought he just didn't want to bring them to Kansas, you know what I mean? He didn't want to have to drive them all the way back down. Because that whole situation, it's with Nova's last name being different than, it's been this whole hatred, like, he hates Clint, hates him with a passion, always has. And Clint just thinks he's annoying, it's always been that way. But when we go to court, I read this paper, and it says that he had, Nova said that, he said, if you keep crying like that, I'm gonna give you a reason to cry, and I'm gonna hit you too. I was like, he's never even spanked the girls. Like, first of all, Rosie's a baby, and he was talking about Rosie. Rosie at the time was a year old, and first of all, we were dealing with trying to hide our addiction, you know what I'm saying? I'm the one who dealt with the children. He stayed in the back room and did his own thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I dealt with the kids, and Nova, I mean, the two, they hardly ever got spankings, you know what I mean? Everyone got Rose, and I just was like, how did you come up with this crazy story? We went to court, and it's crazy because it was the same judge. I know it was the same freaking judge because I got the paperwork that says, and when Dustin had said, well, I just want a restraining order against the girls, and she's like, well, are you afraid of him? He's like, well, he tried to, no, I just don't want him around my girls, and she's like, you don't have no case on this. There's no proof of this. Like, this guy's been their dad also since they were born. You know what I mean? Like, I see no reason other than you're trying to put a restraining order up for no reason.
Right.
Well, when he came back with the girls for a visit, and I was all messed up. I was trying to be fine, but I was really bad. September of 2024, and I was homeless. I'd just become homeless. I just relapsed from going to treatment. I was in that middle, like, gave up on life zone, and go back to the hotel to bring the girls back after my grandparents, and we all hung out with them. And I stayed out in the car, and Dustin came up to my car. I was like, where did that come from? I said, I don't understand. So he retells me the story in detail of what Nova said. He's like, Brie, I wouldn't make that up. She said this. And immediately it all came to me. He wasn't talking to the girls. The last night I had my kids, I was supposed to have them reintegrated with me. And the very last night, I knew it was the last night because I just did a hair follicle 4 days before. I said, when the result comes back, they're just taking them from me. So I had a night with the boys by themselves, a night with the girls by themselves, and I knew that I was not going to have them anymore after that. And last night, and we got into this huge fight over this stupid blanket. I thought it was Dustin's, and he's like, where's this on the bed? It was just this whole thing. This whole thing could be moved. So all my stuff has been moved around, you know what I mean? I don't know what the hell's in the box. Yeah, so it pissed me off. So Nova's sitting in the bed in our room, and we got into a big fight. And I remember it being in the back of the closet, and I was like, stop, like, we were just fighting, screaming in the closet, and I backed into the closet, and I had grabbed, you know those little wood things that hang up in the closet? I detached it. I was like, get back. Like, I'm not playing, you know what I mean? Like, I had already been choked out. It was a whole thing. I was like, please just let me go. Please let me know. Nova's in there crying. She wants to watch a movie, and she's just still. She's sitting just perfectly still on the bed. The baby's in her room, in her crib. And Nova said, I don't want Daddy to sleep in here. I want to go sleep in my room. And she wanted to stay with me, but she didn't want to stay with Daddy because they were both Daddy. There was Daddy Clint and Daddy Dustin. Like, that was just the way it was, you know. And she would not. And he's like, what would you think? Like, make them out, you know what I mean? In her little brain, that's what she heard. And the 3-year-old just hears, keep crying, I'll give you a reason to cry, and I'll hit you for real. But when Dustin asked her what's going on, she thought it was to the baby. Or she couldn't say it was mommy. You know what I mean? It was Rosie, mommy, whatever. However, she's 3 years old with a lisp, so who knows what it was. But it immediately came back to my brain. I was like, that's the last time she was with me. So of course that's going to be in her head. You know what I mean? Like, these poor kids had to go through that. On top of having people over at my house, and they knew if the door was shut, well, they know what's happening. My 2 older boys, you know, they're 10 and 11, they knew what was going down. Oh, it's so embarrassing to know that my kids knew, like, I've got my friend coming over, we're doing whatever in the back room, you know? I'd come out and check on the kids, I'm like, I don't check on the kids, if I'm running out, like, with the blanket wrapped around me, you know what I'm saying? Check on the kids and go back there again. And they lived in that, even if it was just for a short period of time. So I am grateful that they at least, you know what I mean? Because I did get away with it for so long, that they did witness things that they didn't need to witness. You know, my son called the cops on my ex. When they finally showed up, he actually got in trouble for the first time because Roman's the one who called. I said, call him, because now it's getting bad, and I didn't want the kids to see it get worse. And then he did, and we all lied for him, and it was just a whole mess, you know? And the amount of turmoil, and just, the kids didn't deserve none of that. And I saw it. I mean, I had cameras up. And I went back into my cameras and I'd watch before I relapsed. All of us out in the living room, playing games, watching TV, having a movie night, running back and forth, playing with the baby, to the kids sitting out there by themselves. And then when I would come out there, and I watched the video on purpose so I could see what I looked like to my kids. Twitching, twacked out, walking around, my arms are all like weird, jagged, like, luckily my kids still love me anyway, you know what I mean? But I could see it, and my older son's like, man, I tell you what, I can be grateful today that, thank God, I figured it out before it got too bad, you know? Because, and what's great is that when I came back here, and I got the girls, me and Dustin were screaming at me. It was when they got taken from him or whatever, right? And I was like, I don't want to sit here and yell at you. I'm not going to yell at you. Like, you can think whatever you want. And then it did yell at him. And then hung up the phone, and the other goes, Mommy, I've never heard you scream before. Immediately, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl forgot about all the stuff she's been through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll have a chance to start over again, and she doesn't have to remember that last time being at my house. So she heard me screaming all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To, I've never heard you yell before, Mom. Okay, we're gonna keep it like that. We're not gonna bring back Monster Mom for these poor little babies to hear.
Right.
So, yeah, grateful for that. I mean, they got yelled at a little bit at my house recently, but it was a thing, you know what I'm saying? We all needed a nap. So, that's it on that. I'm done talking.
So I'm gonna go back. Woody said something that kind of made me recall. You know, he's talking about when he was 18, got locked up or whatever.
Yeah.
I was 18 as well. I had come across the prescription form of alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like them little footballs, and then the other ones that are similar to it. You'd buy a handful of them, and it's like a fifth in a little pill form, without sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo woo. I ate way too many of them.
Yep.
Alright, and ended up doing some bunch of whole crazy shit, bro. Took me, I was in a drunk tank for over 2 weeks before I really set in, and I realized where I was and where I was not gonna go anytime soon, and that was outside. Alright. I think I plead out to 10 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. That's what I pled out to. They were trying to hit me with a persistent felony offender on my first offense at 18. They were trying to give me 20 years for I was like, wait. I said, it's my first strike.
Right.
You hit me all 3 with one pitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't right. You know?
I'm scary.
But I still recall, even with that and being confronted with it, you know, and looking at that, like the fear of it, still, I couldn't wait to get out of jail and get high again. Okay?
Yep.
The gravity of the situation just evaporated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess it's a question, how, because now I look back on my mind then, and the state of my mind, it was just so, I don't know if you want to say immature, lack of real adult life experiences, and what, if anything, can teach the lesson of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can get one out of that mindset. You know what I mean? It's just like you said, you know what I'm saying? You's 18, you're back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know that the kid can't be much better about it today. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when that's all they see. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. That's what they see. You know, kids are impressionable. They learn from a lot of what they see and a little of what they are taught physically, like at school. You know, a lot of it's shit's what they see on a day-to-day basis.
So did you have uncles or anything like this that was in and out, that, you know, the cool uncle that maybe smoked all the time, or that you knew that smoked all the time, or was...
I didn't, yes.
Lived a rough lifestyle?
It was more like my cousin, my older cousin. I did have uncles that, my one uncle still smokes weed, still to this day, you know what I mean? But he wasn't in and out of trouble or nothing like that. But my older cousin, I watched him go through jail. I watched him go through all that. Now, it's funny, because now he's a ranger in the military. I think he's in Africa or some shit like that right now. He's a ranger.
He's a badass.
He's a ranger.
Shout out to the Rangers.
Yeah.
My dad.
It's funny, man, because I think I was talking about this one day. I have my ears are like one of my second top self-confidence, bro. He used to tease me, boy. But anyway, the point I'm getting at,
I thought you were going to say you tried to enlist and they told you no because of your ears.
They might as well have, you know. But no, like I've watched a lot of him, and then like really like for myself, when I was like 9 years old, like, I always wanted to be a soccer player. When I turned 9, though, I learned how to cook crack the first time. Okay, and so my aspirations in life went from being a professional soccer player to I wanted to be an adult boy, you know what I'm saying, just because of the people that I was around that had money. I liked what I was seeing, you know what I'm saying, I want to be like that, so now I want to do this, you know what I mean. Like I said, one of my first addictions was selling drugs. I did started doing that about 19 years old, and that's every time I go out in the street, you know what I'm saying, one of my partners is getting locked up. Like I was talking about this the other day when I was at my drug court meeting, man. I told him, I said, at one point in time in my life, I liked going to jail because every time I got locked up, all of my partners was in there.
Yeah.
The people I thought was my peoples for real was in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all looked out for each other. We all, did our little thing together, but we was all locked up around the same time every time I got locked up. I used to love that shit. Absolutely. The one thing I don't regret it at all because this shit made me who I am today, man. Like if I wouldn't have went through any of the things that I've been through to get to where I am, I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for those tribulations, those trials. You know what I mean? But like that's the one thing that I can say. If I could have done it differently, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like going to jail all the time like that. Like that's the one thing I'll never get back. I'll never get back that time. I spent so much of my life incarcerated, just alone incarcerated. I'm not talking about any of the 5 different rehabs I went to, just incarceration alone. It's probably one thing I would probably do differently, man. Because I'll never get that time back, man. I spent when my first daughter was born, I listened to her being born on the phone, incarcerated. I'm on the phone with my baby mama in tears in front of all these dudes, you know what I'm saying? And in the one place that you were not supposed to cry in.
I cried in jail.
I did too. Not one, and I did too. But it was things like that though, you know what I mean? Because like you said, like I didn't give a damn, you know what I mean? But it's like now I gotta prove myself because you over here looking like a real bitch. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, we can step in this bathroom though.
Yeah. Go ahead and say that.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I see what you want to say.
Yeah.
Can you make that audible real quick?
Yeah. So I literally listened to my first daughter born. It's crazy, bro, because after she was born, she's crying. I can hear her crying on the phone. So my baby mom put on speakerphone, and I started talking, and I listened to her stop crying. You know what I mean? So she was looking for me. You know what I mean? That right there hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt. And I carry that still to this day, you know what I'm saying? When my son was born, I was right there. And then my third daughter was born, I was right there. But my second, going on my 4th child, was locked up. You know what I mean?
How many kids you got?
6 of them.
Almost a baseball team.
Almost.
I had a lot. I got 5.
Yeah. But like,
We got a basketball team with one on the bench.
There's one on the bench, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like looking for a football team, so I'm looking for a bit. But the point I'm getting at though is like, man,
I got a boy and a girl. Done.
I got 3 girls, 3 boys, exactly.
4 girls, 1 son.
Yeah.
My son, the baby.
Yeah.
That's why.
See, it's just that time, man. Like I said, I'm grateful that I don't have my kids. They were taken from me when they were. None of my kids, like, they were around me after I was high. Like, I didn't take them to go buy dope from the dope man or nothing like that. But they did see me high. Like, you know what I mean? I would go pick them up. Before we get to McDonald's, I got to pull over and use this bathroom real quick. You know what I mean? We get to McDonald's, you know what I mean? I'm like, I got to use the bathroom real quick. You know, and they're like, I want to go play. Like, let me go use this bathroom real quick. And then I take them to go play. And while they playing, I gotta use this bathroom real quick. You know, we get to leave, and I'm like, well, hold on, I gotta use this bathroom again real quick. You know what I mean? And just that time.
Yeah.
Just all the time that I spent incarcerated, all the time I spent getting high, really, instead of enjoying the time I had with my kids. Like, I'm grateful that they were never exposed physically to be around that in that sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when my ex-wife, at the time we just had 2 of our kids, and when we was about to go, get dope or do dope or anything like that, we would take them and drop them off at her parents' house, you know what I'm saying? And her parents would have her for 2, 3, sometimes 4 days, depending on,
They knew what we were doing.
No, yes, they did because they're not stupid. You know what I mean at all. But like without us actually physically telling them, no. You know what I mean? We lied to them. You know what I mean? I gotta go do this. You know, I'll be back. And then 2 days later, they're like, hey, you guys coming back? You know, yeah, give me another day or so. We'll be back. You know, so a day turned into 5 real quick.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll say even then, like I'm grateful for that, man. Like a lot of people don't have that. There are a lot of people, and I'm not down in anyone that has taken their kids to go do that. I'm no better than you. You know what I mean? I've done shit probably just as bad, you know, but I'm grateful that I didn't have to do that because I know what that could turn into. You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm no better because just because I didn't take my kids to go get dope, you know what I mean? They still see me high.
Yeah.
They still know. Kids know. I'm telling you right now, I cannot see my kids for 5 or 6 days and we go around and being high, they're gonna know something's off.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah.
rip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We do ourselves thinking people don't know.
Hell yeah.
I remember being a kid with my ear to the vent, listening to them in the other room.
Real?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the level of knowledge was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and y'all think I don't know.
They figured it out really quick.
Yeah.
And then another thing, we think we look so good when we hide, we look crazy.
Go boy 6.
Oh no, I knew I was bad. I knew I was bad.
Yeah, dog, I seen some pictures of me, boy, from I was like, Jesus Christ, I was down bad. I thought I was all right, though.
So check it out. There's a website. First, after I tell you this website, I need to get your thoughts on the day or whatever you got. All right.
Yeah.
But I found this website, and you can look at any state. So you type in any state, and then you put arrests. It's plural.
Right.
Arrest.org. Mugshots all the way back, bro.
Oh, real?
Yes. Absolutely.
All your mugshots.
All the way back.
All of
So
them.
I can't even see no more.
Well, you might not be able to see them, bro. I can't find one from another state. I won't mention it in fear, maybe it may pop up. It's all but disappeared. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for that one. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, what you got, Dorsey?
As far as
Anything? What's on your mind? Will you get out? Will you getting out of the day, out of the program, whatever? Just let it fly, bro.
The biggest thing I can honestly say is peace of mind, man. I was under the influence of a substance that did strip me of a peace of mind.
Ain't that it?
I was being paranoid all the time, worried about the next time going to jail. So the program has definitely put me in a state of mind where I no longer have to live like that no more. I enjoy my peace. I used to be heavily, I need validation, but now I find more peace in being alone. And it's crazy, and I get into a lot of arguments with a lot of people about that. I'm not trying to argue with about it, but isolation is a good thing for me.
Yeah. Brings elevation.
People don't really understand that, though. They always, you shouldn't isolate yourself. Well, no, I need to. Because and that's another reason why I'm selfish. I don't sponsor people right now, I'm working on myself. I want to continue to be the greatest version that I've ever been. And in order for me to obtain that, I have to continue to follow what works for me. And peace of mind, man. Peace of mind, man. Life is great. Life is great. There's just things that come into my life that before the steps, I would definitely not know how to handle it because I was an emotional man more than anything else. And now I've learned to decline on the emotion and work on the focus instead. And I must say that my life is in a great place now because of that. So yeah, for me, peace of mind is everything. No Buddhist.
Right.
So, 2 things though. I would like to ask you. We brought this up last week, so I like this question, man, because it really had me thinking. But if you could go back to your 18-year-old self and have a conversation with yourself, right?
Yeah.
In 3 words, what would you say?
Honestly,
Yeah.
for me, 18, stay in school.
Okay.
I said stay in school. I played college football at 18. I blew my knee out, lost my scholarship, and chose to go back to the street life instead of pursuing an education.
Yeah.
And I would trade everything to be able to go back to that time period and make the choice to stay in school
Yeah.
and get my degree. And because I don't care what nobody says. Like, I changed this whole shit if I could. I would have never ever been on drugs if I could change it. And I can only imagine what my life would have been like if I would have made the right choices.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stay in school probably the biggest one for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Stay in school.
And then, you know, you was talking about that isolation thing. So, I listen to a lot of Kevin Gates, man. Like like I said, his interviews and shit like that, man. And one of the realest things I've heard him say was isolation brings elevation.
Yes.
If you use isolation properly.
Yes.
The way he put it was, a lot of his best work is in isolation because in this time period he's talking to God and he becomes closer to God in that sense. So a lot of his things come from being alone. If used properly.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think isolation is just let me cut everything off. I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing. Sit by myself over here.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything.
Like, you gotta grow. You have to grow.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of that argument you was talking about comes from because they think the isolation is just over here by myself not doing nothing. You know
That's what
I mean?
isolation is.
Yes.
But what Dorsey is referring to is not isolation. It can be perceived as that.
Right.
It is solitude. There's a difference.
Well,
Solitude.
with my solitude.
Well, solitude is being comfortable being by yourself, you know what I'm saying? But you're not cutting off God in solitude.
No.
Isolation means I'm cutting off everybody and I'm not speaking with God.
Oh, no. I don't know if I see this where it comes.
Yeah, this is the argument.
Isolation from the humans brings me closer to God.
Yeah.
Once I start incorporating more humans in my day-to-day interactions, the farther I go away from Him. So let's just see. If I want to be the best person I can be, how can I do that? I can be spiritual. If I want to be spiritual, how do I achieve this goal? I got to start seeking His face, right? So if I'm going to seek His face and, okay, I'm going to go to church, right? No, for me, no. I'm not going to go to church because then I start making friends in the church. Next thing you know, some politics are going on. Next thing you know, I'm getting further away from God than I ever dreamed of. So then, well, maybe I go to a connect group, go to a little Bible study or something like that. Again, I'm making more connections with humans than I am with God. Now, when I start to take people away, right? When I start not making new friends, and I start meditating alone, praying alone, seeking His face in His Word or through my prayer life alone, I feel the connection to Him closer. And in that sense, it brings a lot because a lot of people say AA brought them to God and stuff, and I know it's in the book, but I got to say the opposite, totally opposite from me. God was already with God. I just chose to backslide from Him.
That's it.
I chose to walk away from Him. I didn't need AA to bring me to God at all. Not knocking people that do, because it's a good thing if you do find your higher power. But isolation for me is like where I'm at right now. I'm the lone wolf. I have no problem with it, bro. I have no problem with it. My therapist, we should make friends. Why? When I made friends, I made charges.
Yep.
When I made friends, I was absent from the Father. When I made friends, I started to focus on everybody else except for my own self. I refuse to live like that from here on out.
Yes.
And I must say that the way that I live my life now, the way I choose to live it now, and I'm talking about it, bro. Like I talked to you about that thing. Like I'm even turning down sex right now.
Oh yeah, you did.
Which is not easy, and I'm pretty sure we all can agree with that. It's not easy to turn it down, especially a man. You know, you got physical wants and needs, but like because of me being isolated so much and because of my spiritual life growing so hard, God speaking to my heart where I had a nice one want to get with me, and I was like, I came to a meeting.
Yeah.
So, but now if I was still hanging with the crowd, if I was still kicking it with the boys, or if I was still being a whoremonger, if I was still just being the guy that's always got a woman around him, you know, because before I got clean, you wouldn't catch me with a bunch of dudes, but you're gonna catch me with a chick.
Yeah.
Off the bat, you know what I'm saying? I've always been a charming young scrappy fellow, you know. So, but that shit didn't do nothing for me, but just please me for a few moments. It's just like the drugs, bro. The bottle runs dry, the blood burns out, the cooler gets dry, and it ain't worth nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need something more, and for me that was my spirituality. That was for me to walk with God. That was for me to learn what He needs from me, so I can be the best me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but I had to isolate for that. You know, there's a story, and I'm probably going to destroyed. But I love when I hear it's about the eagle. You heard the story about the eagle?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know how to tell a story the right way?
No.
I wish somebody did. You know what I mean?
I know it, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I know it word for word.
I love that. I love that because he goes to the highest elevation that he can go to, and to get away from everything. And he beats his beak up and
Mashes his beak.
Everything, plucks the hair all out of him.
Takes the claws out. Yeah. All to.
And I say this,
Just
like,
survive,
there wasn't no support system there with him. There wasn't nobody over in the corner. Go, keep going. No, he knew he needed to do something.
He had to live.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
And in a sense, that's how I live my life now.
So I like that. I like that because it goes back to what we was just talking about, like the growth. So Sean, earlier you said that you knew that you was gonna die this way. Like, you know what I mean? That's what you thought, right? Mm-hmm. I heard, and Kevin Gates said this. He said, "To stay the same is ignorant." Right? To not want to grow and to change is ignorant.
Big thing.
You know what I'm saying? Now that can be controversial, but what that means to me is like every day I'm changing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm staying the same, if I'm complacent with who I am today and I stay this way the rest of my life, that is ignorance, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every day I try to just be better than I was the day before.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow. I'm constantly trying to grow, man. And like in my sobriety, that's probably the biggest thing for me because there was no growth there, bro. Like I just stayed in the bed. You know what I mean? Like it was no growth there, bro. I used to tell myself I'm gonna die and I'm gonna die high. That's what I used to say. I used to say that all the time.
I used to think of it.
Just all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like it. Like that's how I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die high.
I used to not even realize that I couldn't make it through a day without getting high.
Without getting high. Everything I did.
It's retarded.
Yeah, everything I did, bro. Everything I did revolved around that. To the point where eventually I literally would just get up, get high, and stay in bed all day. And just still get high. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to the point, like you said, like in order for me to open my eyes, I was getting high before I smoked a cigarette in the morning.
Yeah.
I would get high before I used the bathroom in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I had to.
Yeah. I'd nod off and wake up to that bowl sitting next to me.
Have to.
You know what I'm saying? Before I go pee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm good now. I'm gonna do it. I can take over the world now.
Yeah.
You know?
Go.
Every eagle, their claws no longer sharp enough to hunt. Its beak becomes bent and blunt, and its feathers become thick. The eagle has two options. Either it dies, or it goes through a painful change. The eagle must go to the mountain and crush its beak. Come on, Buffer. On a rock until it falls out. When the old beak falls out, a new beak grows in. With the new beak, the eagle rips its claws out. New ones grow in. And then the eagle plucks out its feathers, and new ones grow in. The painful journey lasts 150 days. After doing this, the eagle gets a new life. Sometimes we need to get rid of our old self in order for a new and better version to emerge.
So with that too, we was in the fat book study earlier, and I'm about to butcher this completely. I don't know I am, but it says this is a simple program, right? I can't remember word for word exactly what it said, man. My fat book's in the car, but it is simple.
Not easy.
It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And like that right there, like that's not. You either die or you do this. You know what I mean? And that's that right there, and like the way this book, the 12 steps, all that. Like I have to do this not because I have to, because of drug court, not because I have to, because if I don't, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna go to jail. Not because of that.
Yeah.
Like I have to live today. Like that's that process that I'm going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mashing my beak. You know what I'm saying? I used to beat my head on the wall anyway, so why not mash the beak to change and do something better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of the shit. Like it's not easy. It is simple. It's not easy. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm grateful for the.
I wouldn't mind if it was easy though.
No, absolutely not.
It ain't worth it if it's easy.
If it was easy, we'd all be doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's I like challenges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for a very good friend of mine challenging me to do this when I was locked up, bro. We talking about that mindset that we had, like while we was locked up, like thinking about how I'm gonna get high. You know, shit. My thought process was I'm gonna go get high and come back.
Yeah.
I said that to him, and he's like, bro, you sound stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, just try it. If it wasn't for him challenging me, bro, and really me putting forth that effort to try drug court, maybe give it a little chance. Facts. I wouldn't be here right now, bro. I wouldn't.
So I have to, I get to, I need to, whatever, I want to. Bro, I love to. I love to recover. I love my recovery, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
just like selling dope. Like it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like it becomes a lifestyle.
Only I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't know that it was. I didn't know it could be good.
Yeah.
All I thought of was it was dull, painful, not appealing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the whole. I can hear me and my coworker all the time riding around blazing all day at work. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, watch out for him. He's a square. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not cool to be square, bro.
No,
you know what I mean? Which to me, and it don't matter what anybody else thinks about a square.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That square life is.
The best life.
Yes.
It's the best life.
Yeah, I got chills even thinking about it.
Yeah.
How, like we just talked about, a minute ago, the small-mindedness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just stuck in that
Yeah.
and wondering why I struggle all the time with everything, with all the problems.
Yeah.
Just a problem.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be drugs. It didn't have to be nothing.
Right.
It could be women. It could be the job. You know what I'm saying? It could be
Everyday
the
life,
way you felt about me. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, for real.
Yeah.
You got something you want to try to read over there? What are you trying to do?
Whenever. I don't
What?
know.
You got the mic.
Okay. So, it kind of goes into everything we've already talked about. So today's Just for Today reading is Embracing Reality. Recovery is reality for us today. Basic text page 101. Pain and misery were realities in our using lives. We were unwilling to either accept our living situation or to change what was unacceptable in our lives. We attempted to escape life's pain by taking drugs, but using only compounded our troubles. Our altered sense of reality became a nightmare. Through living the program of Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, whatever, we learn that our dreams can replace our nightmares. We grow and change. We acquire the freedom of choice. We are able to give and receive love. We can share honestly about ourselves, no longer magnifying or minimizing the truth. We accept the challenges real life offers us, facing them in a mature, responsible way. Although recovery does not give us immunity from the realities of life, in the NA Fellowship we can find the support, genuine care, and concern we need to face those realities. We need never hide from reality by using drugs again, for our unity with other recovering addicts gives us strength. Today, the support and care and the empathy of recovery gives us a clean, clear window through which we can view, experience, and appreciate reality as it is. Just for today, a gift of my recovery is living and enjoying life as it truly is. Today, I will embrace reality.
Real quick. My boy Paul, after the meeting, showed me that and said that it may be really relevant for you. Forgot to relay that message, okay? You found it anyway, okay?
Confirmation.
Secondly, on the friends thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, very few people I call friend, okay, today. I'm really careful with that, okay? But I look at the fellowship, you know, and I allow that to enable me to let people in the circle. The circle will always change. I'm certain of that. That's one thing I can be sure of, okay? And then comes in the element of trust. I don't trust any one person. It don't matter who it is. Mom, any one person. We are born faulty to the core, okay? I have hope for people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope the best for you. I hope that, you know, I won't let you down. I hope that you won't let me down. But again, human element.
No expectations on
No. Okay, so that's just kind of how And not only that, I had a guy way back, man, and we was getting high when he said it. But it was some of the most profound shit I think I ever heard somebody say. Okay, all relationships, no matter the gravity of them, will end at some point and some time. No matter the way of the nature of the way it ends. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's an intimate relationship or just a great friendship. Or mother, father, son, you know what I'm saying? Like time, space, or untimely events, you know what I mean? So, and I gotta keep all these things in mind, you know what I'm saying?
I used to argue that point.
Yeah.
I did.
Today, if I find myself in an argument, I've already lost.
I don't. You know, I think cease fighting anything and everyone, you know. But back in the day, I would argue that point. You know what I mean? Because ain't nothing ended. It's not ended until I say it's ended. You know what I'm saying?
And one more thing real quick. When I got you talking about the isolation versus solitude, that's why I wanted to bring you on here. Just the way you spoke on that, you know what I'm saying? And I can appreciate differences of opinion today. You know what I mean? Just because I got my opinion, that don't mean it's right.
Right.
I love hearing other people's. Pause for station identification.
Are we all pausing?
You can if you like, bro.
Yeah, pausing too. Pausing for, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
5:00.
we might go ahead and just
Wrap her on up.
Close without
that's it. I know it's just well here.
All right, so
Okay.
We just do the gratefuls real quick.
Are we the gratefuls up here? Yeah, perfect.
wait.
Wait for Sean to come back. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we gotta wait for him to come back. So I want to throw this in there because if I don't, I'm gonna lose this train of thought and I need to get it out. And so, on the realities, on the, you know what I mean? I know that if I had not ended up doing drugs at some point, I would not have my two youngest daughters. That is why I cannot say I wish I never did drugs because they bring joy to my soul. Also, what I found when I went to, so my first addiction was my boys' dad. What I found was that I couldn't leave, so I described the story with the ex-husband, right? It wasn't like that all the time, but it sure got like that a whole lot. And in my head now, and even then, why can't I leave? I could leave, but I couldn't stay left. Same with the drugs. Why do I keep doing the drugs when I'm going to lose my kids? When every time I do, I know what it does to me. I don't really feel good. It's this temporary feeling. And when I went into treatment, it was really, I've whipped the drug problem before. I couldn't leave the dude. I didn't understand what the problem was, right? When we get in those toxic relationships, I learned this final bout through treatment, you know, that women that go into, or men too, that are in toxic relationships, the parts of their brain that react are the same parts of a brain that when you look at a cocaine addict, what happens, right? It's the same thing. And going back into, you know, had the boys' dad never died, had that never happened, you know, would I have ever gone into drugs? Probably not. But I sure know that at that time, I probably would have let myself go so far as to always been that, I probably would have never left. Things started to get bad, or if I did leave, I'd always be, I wouldn't have had the rooms to learn about myself in that way. Like, what do you do? You go to, who can go to treatment to learn about relationships, you know what I mean? So, in a way, I learned a lot of things about myself and about the reality of the situation, and I really do like the reading because at the time, I knew the reality I was living in wasn't any good, but I put up with it because I was using drugs, you know? I knew if I don't use the drugs, well, then I'm going to leave, but if I leave, then what am I going to do? And now I can look at all of that. I know how I felt, I don't know how I stayed. I know I wanted to leave, I don't know, other than, well, because of the drugs. But had I not done the drugs, I was kind of doing the same, I was in the same, you know, I hadn't grown up enough yet, you know, I don't know what I would have learned had I not had some of the things never happened in life. I don't know where I would have ever thought going to a counselor, going to a therapist. We didn't do that. You know what I mean? That wasn't a normal thing in the family. We just didn't do any of that stuff. So there's things that I am grateful that at least I've learned, because the 12 steps works for anything, but if you never hear about it, then you're never going to learn it.
True.
So that's all I got on there. What?
Yeah, I know. Let the text and be like, hey, yo, gratefuls.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, that's.
How was your week? We never did that. We skipped that. So how was your week before we do
I'm not allowed to
gratefuls?
discuss how my week was because it pertains to a certain specialty court that I'm under, and I'm not allowed to speak about that thing no more. Did you hear about that?
No.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
Talk about
place,
what?
That place that we go to go see that person that sits behind that thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I was told Tuesday that we are no longer allowed to speak about that place anywhere but that place. So and really that's where my frustration comes from, that place.
Yeah.
But I can't speak on it because, especially, hey.
That's listen, bro.
Hey.
Listen. I only hear from my
Peoples?
yeah. When I go there.
Me too.
You know, I don't.
Me too.
You know, they don't ever call me or nothing like that unless something's wrong.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing usually wrong. So
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, I ain't heard none. I ain't heard none of that.
Yeah.
None of it.
Oh, but you're in AC, ain't you?
Yeah. So
yeah, you're in AC yet.
I talk about it. We've talked about it on here a couple times.
Well, I would definitely would have too. It's just, it would make it kind of.
It deters me a little bit, bro, because if it wasn't for this, like, I wouldn't be where I am, but I can't talk about it though.
Yeah.
I can't express.
Yeah, you mean
life
I
is
can
like
go
today?
to a meeting and get off my chest about something that could be sobriety threatening with the way I'm treating and.
So I was gonna bring this up at my interview, okay?
Yeah.
Because if say we turn the paper in and they have a question, they call somebody.
Yeah.
But that's anonymity, right?
Supposed to be.
So okay, so if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why is this whole thing is anonymity? Yeah, all of it's anonymity,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah. It's preach.
I'm supposed to come here and tell you what's been going on,
Yeah.
and I've been going to these and this, and then another part of the aspect of the whole point, like I never looked at it like this in the 2 years that I've been here, but when it's anonymity again,
Yeah.
if I sign that paper,
Yeah.
I just broke my own anonymity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we, because I didn't even get that until I think you brought it up last week.
Yeah.
And I thought,
And it don't bother me because just
Well, it don't bother me neither.
Right. But just specifically saying for myself, like, yeah, okay, I was here. I'll tell you I'm an addict. I'll tell you I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm grateful too.
Yeah.
But
it's the principle,
it's the
of the
principle
program.
behind
The
that.
program.
So because in 2011, I told you, 2011, I sat 17 months behind that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you made a phone call to a place that
Ain't supposed
to tell you whether I'm there or not.
That was either denied or confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
But for them to turn around and say like, nah, I can't talk about this place, but like this place saved my life, bro. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's.
It's
We can talk about this afterwards.
It's the, what is it? It's the paradox. It's another paradox.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many paradoxes in the program, bro. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
And look, that was the hard part for me. Like coming in, like my head is so scrambled, bro. Like, you know, you remember back in the day, this is your brain.
Yeah.
This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
My brain was on drugs, bro. Like I was fried and scrambled, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? And now I come in a meeting to try to get better. Man, y'all confusing the shit out of me. Like it is so,
Yes.
like, and I always felt like they should be like some kind of kindergarten AA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
a basic that we start here.
because you come in here and talk about the wrong thing. Old timers like, man, shut up, bro. Sit down.
Put your
You know what I mean? Like,
Put your out.
yeah.
Facts.
And I'm done. Went back out because you know.
Yeah. No, think about how many people have went back out because
I was one of them.
intro AA.
Listen, I was one of them. You know how many times I walked into a meeting and because I went to an old timer meeting. I was up in the city. I went to an old timer meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
It was, at the time, I'm an addict. You know.
Was it on Broadway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what you talking about?
so I walk in and I sit down and they introducing themselves. And I said, "My name is Anthony. I'm an addict."
Yeah, everybody killed you.
Gentleman got up, walked over behind me, said, "You gotta come with me." I said, "Where you going?" He said, "Outside." I said, "For what?" Now I'm ready to fight now because what you talking about?
Yeah.
Single me
He
out.
walked me outside
Yeah.
and then turned around and walked back inside and left me out there on the porch.
Yeah.
I got in the car and left and got high that day. Like, cause now I'm different. Because I, you know what I'm saying? And even further, just like people that would come in, I got deterred because someone started mentioning God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
We literally balked at all that. I'm going, no, we going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's
It's crazy.
I feel like they should be like a beginner step into like that, just for that. You know what I'm saying?
Intro to
yeah, absolutely. Because you know, I'm not.
Y'all done got the wheels spinning now.
Yeah,
For real.
That's real, man. Like,
With being etiquette and everything, everything you need to know about being in the meeting. Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And a lot of times, like I went to long-term treatment, bro. Like so, I was forbidden to go out off the hill the whole 8 months I was there. So all I ever knew was how we did them there.
Yeah.
So then when I go to a meeting, my first meeting outside of I was like, damn, it's different. You can have your phone out and shit. We did.
Yeah.
I want people to play with their phones and shit. They come over and cut your fingers off, you know.
Now, last week I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't recall everything we spoke about last week on the thing in the podcast, but we was talking about. I know we was talking about the recovery homes around town, and I would like to say that I am grateful for the recovery homes, the ones that really do put the client above all, above the money. There was a lot of them, and I feel like someone, I don't really know. I feel like he got offended maybe, but I was not specifically talking about him because I've never felt like that when I was there, you know. But I will say that I am extremely grateful to have gone through these programs. A lot of these programs do put the clients first, and that is important. I have seen other places that do not, and I think that's where I was more or less getting at. You know, where I came from. Again, when I got there, he showed me the way. You know, he opened the door for me, and if you want it, this is all you got to do is this right here. And he really he paved the way for me. I seen the way's already been paved, and he's ushering me through, if you will. And I wanted it. You know what I mean? I'm extremely grateful for that place. I'm extremely grateful to have gone through his program. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
How long was the program?
6 months.
Okay.
Well, it was 6 months, but I stayed almost 10.
See, I respect that because I don't 28-day program.
No. See,
I don't know.
I'm not. You know, I don't knock them. You know, they can work. I think that's the intro that we was just talking about.
Yeah.
Should be, you know,
Yeah.
should
That's
be.
what I was about to point out.
Yeah.
Like these houses that you mentioned, that could be
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you're getting the ideas
I learned the etiquette and everything at long term, but it was long term, like I said. I
Yeah.
did 8 months in that place.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hickory Hill, like Hazard, Kentucky, man, saved my life. But yeah, I struggle when I meet people that do a 28-day program and they think they got this thing figured out.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, how?
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
how do you have it all mastered in 28 days?
Did I tell you about? So, I'll tell you my experience with going to a 28-day treatment facility.
Yeah.
All right, so at the time, you know, I'm ecstasy, weed, I'm doing it all, drinking, all that shit. So I'm in drug court. It's 2011, bro. I'm in drug court. I'm there, and they send me to Park Place.
Yeah.
Okay. I get there, and I'm talking to these different counselors, and I had them convinced that I was only there because I smoked weed. And then even furthermore, I had manipulated them to allow me to graduate in 19 days.
Boy, you was good.
That
you was good.
That was my experience. Now I'm not saying that all of them are like that, because like I said just a second ago, it is an intro. If you want it, this is what could be a start. But but like honestly, really, I'll go even so far as to say this: like even like a 6 month treatment or a year treatment. Like to me, that's not. I've been doing drugs since I was 9 years old, 10 years old.
Same.
So going through a 6 month program, a 28-day program, a year program, that ain't enough time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's enough time for me to get a footing. You know what I'm saying? But like that's not enough time for me to fix me, bro. Like I've been doing this for a long time. It's not gonna be 2 years. It's not gonna be 5 years. It's probably not even gonna be 10 years.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
But if you got a better chance of success, if
Absolutely.
you do a long term,
Yes.
and coming out of that, then you're conditioned to go to the meetings. You're conditioned to, but like if you do a 28-day, the chances of you staying clean, it's gotta be. I don't know the numbers, but it's gotta be rough. It's gotta be rough.
That was just my experience with the 20 day, and
I enjoyed my 20. I went to commitment house. I ain't scared to name these places. I went to commitment house and I had a good time there. But I already had been to a long-term treatment.
Right.
I already had learned about the disease. I went to the commitment house on the technicality. They found chicken bone in my trunk after I came home from being gone for 8 months, and I was clean. They just had it in the trunk.
Surprise!
Ooh! Remember me? When the police officer walked in the front with what I got.
remember me?
I said, my dad told me he went through the whole car, bro. He told me he went through the whole car.
Yeah, but I hide shit from myself.
Anybody that knew me, and I ain't no war story trader, but if anybody that knew me in the street knew that for a fact that a gangster got a gun on him and Dorsey got a ball on him, and that ball gonna be right here on me at all times. I'll never put it in the car, hide it until I had a spot that in my car that if I got pulled over, I could take it right out of my pocket and I put it right where I wanted it. Other than that, I'm not putting it in the trunk of the car. I don't even know why it was there. I still don't to this day don't know what it was doing in the trunk. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I don't condone war stories. It's just like
So I definitely like to get you back on here next.
Man, I hope
In the near future, you know what I'm saying?
For real. This is pretty cool.
We were asking about weeks. That's what we were getting ready for.
About weeks.
About how your week went.
Oh, yeah.
That's how that conversation started,
that's
because
right.
he's not allowed to speak on his
Right.
week because of
Yeah.
not being allowed to speak on.
It's something I'm not allowed to speak on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had an interesting week, man. Just at work alone. So I realized, and actually it wasn't me that realized this. My plant manager, the second shift plant manager, realized it for me actually. But he comes back here. I'm training, and like I said earlier, another guy on the station next to mine for like the 10th time in like 2 weeks. I've trained probably 15 people in a month. You know what I'm saying? And I'd say probably about 10 of them in the last 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But he comes back here and he says, "Hey Woody, man, why you keep running these people off?" And I'm like, "They don't want to work." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just, and a lot of the times I'm doing the work for you. Like if I'm training over here, my job is to put the rear panel together, and I set it over to the side. You clip it and then screw the vents in. That's all you do. Well, hell, because I'm so quick on this side, by the time you get it, I've done clipped the part too. So all you got to do is put the vents on it and screw it in. So these people are quitting, and I'm doing most of the job for you. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, "Well, I feel like it's just you running them off. Like I feel like it's you." He's like, "You keep doing that, I'm gonna send you over to molding." Well, I'm gonna tell you like this: going to molding is a pay raise. So please do that. Yes. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like the point. Like I'll be training so many people. Finally, I got someone this week. I've trained since Monday. He's been there, every day so far. He's doing good, But it's just interesting to me, man, to see like the people that come through. Like, and I feel like that's where like the 12 steps could work on someone that's not an addict. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a good work ethic before, but like I really picked up my work ethic even furthermore when I started working at 12 steps, and I started realizing like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I just apply that to like everything I do. Like I do everything to the fullest too. So if I'm gonna work, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work for you. You know what I mean? And just seeing the amount of people that come in that are just lazy, bro. Like I'm literally doing half your job for you, and I don't have to do that. I choose to do that because I'm trying to teach you. You know what I'm saying? And you still want to. They don't ever last more than a day. They don't ever last more than a day. And it's, I don't know, just seeing the work ethic that society has nowadays, or like not even society, man, but just people, certain people just have this I don't want to do shit attitude, man.
Yeah, boy.
Like the last dude I trained, man, we literally had a conversation. He said, I missed my old job. I said, what'd you do? He said, I cleaned Blue Oval. He said, I didn't have to do shit. And now I get here, and now I gotta do shit. And I'm like, so basically what you just said was, bro, you lazy.
Yeah.
We went to 11 o'clock break, and he didn't come back.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of you coming all day? You wasted my time, bro. It got to me, bro, because I went to my supervisor. I was like, listen, man, I'd rather just run this machine by myself. I'll run both parts all day. It might take me till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning to run these 400 parts, but I would rather do that than to keep wasting my time putting people back here that's not gonna stay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now I feel like I'm just wasting my time,
So
your
I would have
time.
to ask. I would have to ask the supervisor. One, is your intent to have me move to a different position? Is this why you keep bringing these people here? Because if this is not the intent, maybe just quit bringing people here.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, then I'm like, oh, I'm on board with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But other than that,
We gotta figure this out.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for that. I mean, not just looking for a reason to leave, no, not leave, but go to a different section. Like, just I need some more money, bro. Like, I need just a little bit more. I've been there for a year, and I get these raises, but it's like it's not enough. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
I'm trying to put me over here to Molding. Molding's like a $2 difference.
So let's talk about a raise.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the
All right.
raises, okay? Because even if you get $1 raise,
you still not gonna see it.
it's it's $40 a month.
Yeah.
40 bucks a week if you work 40 hours, okay?
That's before
So
tax.
then take taxes out of it, then take your benefits out of it, then take the child support out of it. Did I get a raise?
Yeah, no.
But try getting $1 raise. I mean, that's unheard of anymore. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah, now it's cents.
60 cents.
Yeah. So I mean, then okay, I get a 50-cent raise. I mean, I ain't got nothing, bro.
Nothing to show for it.
You know what I mean?
But you gotta be grateful you got a job here, because some of us out here are unfortunate enough not having a job.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then, I'm complaining about not having a job, and you complaining about not having $2 extra on check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be in your position than mine. Say somebody in the penthouse is complaining while somebody's on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Complaining about the 4th floor is while somebody's sleeping on the street.
I might have something for you though.
Well, don't talk about it. Just
No, I need you to talk to me after the
You know
meeting.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm kind of. You ready? I hope people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet they say when it comes to a job thing. I don't,
Yeah.
Well, I done heard.
I done been told a million times. Oh, I'll get you on, bro. I'll get you on, and nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, 8 months in GC and still in phase 2. Good God.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it though.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. Yeah. Shit.
So, gratefuls.
Yeah, but I will say before we go into that, I'm not. I don't have too much to complain about in my life today. You know what I mean? Even the financial shit that I go through, I still can't complain.
Yeah.
I can't. Like I'm so like I'll say I'm so grateful about the life I live today. That like I try to find shit to be just to complain about.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Right.
I can't. I absolutely cannot. Like they say, the grass is green on the other side, but it's just greener where you water it.
Making me feel some kind of way, bro.
Why?
That's real.
Because I do got a job, and it is good pay.
What kind of work is it?
Oh, bro, it's killing me. It ain't even the work. It's the lack of work, bro. I'm not the lazy one. Give me something to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm going home. Give me something. I have quit so many jobs, bro, for lack of workflow.
Yeah.
No, I feel
I can't. They're talking about easy money. No, that is not easy money.
Yeah.
I need my day to go by,
According to
not
that.
drag out. You know what I'm saying? Because, oh my God, Lord, dude, it is literally killing me.
Yeah.
It's killing me. I can't stand it. I have put in some applications, you know what I'm saying? That was a half truth. I have put in some applications. I put in more than one, you know what I'm saying? I hopefully get a call on one of them, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna put 28 in.
I really ain't trying to go back to the construction field.
I won't. I'm going next week to help my brother do some block work because I need some money. That's the only reason. But like I hate construction because I got shot in construction and I got PTSD with loud noises and you know. But yeah, he hit me today and was like, "Bro, you want to help me do some work next week?" Yeah, man.
Well, maybe we don't need to talk about that job.
It's construction.
Yeah.
Is it bricklaying?
No, it's remodel. He does a lot of everything.
I do bricklaying.
Matter of fact, he chaired the Saturday noon meeting.
Who the hell is that?
Did you come to the noon meeting?
I got a short-term memory problem with the head, so like, you know.
Hey.
Remember?
What are you doing?
Big book study on Saturdays at noon.
Frank? No.
Big.
Oh, noon? I'm never there at noon.
Big.
I don't know who that is. I'm never there at noon. No, I was here like last Saturday when we was all here, right?
Yeah, no, that's a different study.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, we're trying to remodel that probably. Yeah, and on top of that, in the specialty court that I'm in, and I didn't name it, so you can't hold it against me. They wanted to be
Pay stub like it,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
want to work for my brothers, maybe a few $100 real quick, and then be cool.
But he ain't gonna do that either.
Yeah. Who the dude ain't?
Nah, you.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
I know how to mix that mud up and put it on here.
So what we got on Grateful's?
All right.
Taco Bell, wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Man, I'm grateful that I got to sit here, you know, and do this podcast with you guys. I'm grateful I got to hear your perception, your point of view on you know, the daily things that we all been going through a lot. I'm grateful for my higher power. I'm grateful I woke up twice today.
Come on.
And twice I have been here. I'm grateful for that, man. I'm grateful for, you know, we talking about friends earlier. The people I call friends are more like family to me today, you know, and I'm grateful for my new family. That's what I'm grateful for, man. I'm grateful for where I am. Yeah.
Thank you, Woody.
Absolutely.
I am thankful and grateful to be here today. I'm grateful that, you know, things are moving along in court. That happened earlier in the week, and now I get the girls for the judge's court ordered 48 hours a week. So Saturday to Monday, they get to be with me. You know, and a year ago I was sitting in Kansas just wanting to be able to come up here and see them for a day, you know, and then drive all the way home. It's an 8-hour drive, but I was ready to make that drive just for one day. So I'm grateful for that today. And I am grateful to get to go do the fun things in life sober. Had an amazing night last night. Went to a wonderful concert.
You went on a concert?
We went to an awesome concert. Yeah, I don't know how to word that.
I know how to word it. I just won't word it for you.
I went on a wonderful date.
There you go.
Yes, I did.
Shout out to
I
everybody.
did. And it was great. It was an awesome time. And you can still have fun sober.
That's right.
And yeah, it was amazing. And grateful for the friends and family I have in recovery, and everything I learn each day, trying to be a better person every day than I was the day before.
Word.
And grateful to be sober another day,
Heard.
clean and sober.
Yeah.
Next.
Thank you, Bree.
Thanks, Bree. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Dorsey go first. What you got, bro?
I'm grateful for this opportunity to be on the podcast with y'all. This was a very wonderful to experience, man. It's always good to be around like-minded people, man. So I'm grateful that God put it on y'all heart to invite me. I would love to do it again with you all, man, and I hope I get the opportunity to do it again with y'all. Grateful for another day of life, another day of understanding and growth. And grateful for the pain and the struggles too, man. Where would we be at without it, man? What's sunshine if you don't know what rain is? Grateful to just be around wonderful people like you all and just share the experiences that we had together, man. This was a success in my opinion, and I hope that we can do it again, man. That's all I got.
Thank you, Dorsey.
Thank you, Dorsey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I'm grateful Dorsey come on today. we kind of tried to get him on last week. You know, timelines didn't match up. And communication is everything. Communication is key in my recovery. You know what I'm saying?
Along with
sometimes I don't
transparency.
convey messages as well as I feel. Right. I'm grateful for the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of times, bro, I can't lie to you. I don't want to do it, bro. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to do it. But just a slim chance that I could give somebody that sense of hope that I was so searching for. You know what I'm saying? In the beginnings, it's almost like I'm compelled. You know what I'm saying? I'm compelled to it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like to share something funny I heard earlier. Somebody was telling somebody about the concert they was going to. Like, I'm going to Brandon Lake. They was like, where's Brandon Lake? I thought that was wonderful. Right? It was a pretty good show, man. It really was. Shout out to Brandon Lake. There was I appreciate his faith, and the show was really good. I really needed it, man. I really did. Some of the stuff I heard, it was almost like I was in a meeting, bro.
Yeah.
It was like a meeting / church service, it was really good. So I gotta share with y'all real quick this experience I had last night. We get up there, we get to eating. There's at least 1,000 people, maybe more, maybe there's 2, I don't know. Okay, there's quite a lot of people. We sit there. What was it? $35 for 6 chicken strips and 2 fries. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was ridiculous.
And 2 pops.
And 2 pops. So we walk around the concourse and find a section that's 318. All right, so it's 3rd row up. All right, and we walk through the curtain. We walk around the stairs with people. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go on the other side. All right. So I walk open the curtain, but my mama's standing there.
Oh, really?
I was like, yeah, that's what her face looked like too. I was like, what? Because she had just got notified 2 days prior she was gonna go to a friend. I asked her if she wanted to go.
Yeah.
Well, they're at like 116. It's like on the 1st level.
Yeah.
And she's like, we can't find our seats. I said, well, Mom, where you at? She's like, what seat? I said, well, that's on the 1st floor. So the chances that I walk through the curtain and see my mom standing there, I'm like, in front, and with all these people, I was at a show, but I like at the number of times I thought about that.
Yeah.
Walking through the curtain, I was like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? I knew he was gonna be here, but the chances of running into you was so slim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was pretty cool. Grateful for Mom. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the moms, because they are a power greater than myself.
I love you, Mom.
Yeah.
Love you too, Mom.
Love you, Mom. Definitely.
All your moms.
Say that.
Love all y'all's moms. Love my mom.
I love my mom.
All mothers, really.
Yeah.
I go. Yeah. All mothers.
Grateful for the programs of recovery and have a relationship with my higher power, who I call God.
Amen.
And specifically, yes, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
And and I appreciate those who watch and or / listen. You are appreciated. You are worthy, and there's life on the other side of addiction.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
It does get better. It does, and you are worth it.
Close out with the we version of the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for all those that are still sick and suffering. The babies that were born into disease with no choice of their own. Prayer. God,
grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today.
Amen.
Amen.
Take it one more time.
Shout out.
Absolutely.